All right, you guys, we're going to continue with 9.2 with the parabolas. I broke this into 2 days to not give you guys a long lesson yesterday, and hopefully, because yesterday was an intro and so new, I wanted to break it up. So what we're going to do with today is we're going to write equations. Yesterday, I gave you guys the equation, and you guys found me the directrix, the vertex, the focus. I probably also should have wrote the axis. I think I forgot to do axis of symmetry. I'll do that for you guys. And then go from there. What I want to do is just because we all know maybe some of you guys don't watch my videos or you forgot it. Let's just do a recap from yesterday. If I were to ask you guys to identify, I'm just going to write F, focus, directrix, and we'll say sketch. All right, just a quick review because the lesson today is super short. So for example, and again, this will help us out in case you guys maybe didn't understand it from yesterday. Let's do an easy one. 14x equals, we'll say 4y squared. Okay, so obviously it's not in our correct format. Well, it is, but I would recommend you guys writing it like this. Keep it so the y squared's over here. Okay, so write it like that. Now let's write in the formula, which in this case it's y, oops, I don't have whiteout down here. Let's first get this in standard. So this has to be in standard. So let's divide by 4. Divide by 4. We get y squared equals divide by 4, so 7 over 2x. Okay, so that's our standard form. Okay, now let's write that y squared equals 4px. So you guys know how to solve for it. Again, I would write that down. Now we know that 7 over 2 has to equal 4p. Let's divide by 4. Now you all should know when you're dividing means to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 4 is 1/4. So we get p equals, 7 over 8. Okay, p is next to our x. So my focus is an x. My directrix is an x, the opposite. And then when I do my sketch, 7, 8 is on the x, so let's just pretend it's right here. Here is the negative version of it. So here is your parabola. Okay, hopefully you guys found that somewhat simple. All right, I won't bore you with another example. You guys are lucky. Let's go into today, which hopefully will be fine. And it's short, I promise. All right, so today I'm going to ask you guys, we're still going to stay at the origin. I'm going to say, write the equation of a parabola vertex, oh my God, I don't know what type that was. Vertex is at 0, 0, end, and we're going to do it both ways. One way I'm going to give you the directrix, one way I'm going to give you the focus. Actually, come back up here because I know yesterday's homework asked you for the axis of symmetry. Your axis of symmetry, I'm going to write, I'll write it, axis of symmetry. This is your axis of symmetry. So the question is, what axis are you crossing through? Not like going over. You're going this way. This axis is going to go through a, what do you call this? Y. So the axis of symmetry is y equals, and what's the y coordinate? In this case, it's 0. Remember, if you remember from yesterday, the directrix and the axis of symmetry, they are perpendicular to each other. So if they're perpendicular to each other, if this is x, this is y. If it's y, it's x. Okay, so that's what you have to make sure you're aware of. Okay, so the first example, I am going to give you guys, so example 1. Let's give you guys the focus. So let's do the focus at -2, 0. Again, easy lesson, just watch. All right, so if the focus is at -2, the focus is really important. You guys are listening. If you remember from yesterday or here, perfect example. All right, so when you guys got the focus, 7, 8 was the p-value. Okay, not the directrix, directrix is opposite. So whatever this p-value was. So come down to here. That means my p-value is exactly the same. So there's your p-value. All right, next step. What coordinate is this? This is your x. So these are the hints from yesterday. Like I said, hopefully you watch. So if it's the x, that means the p-value must be next to the x. So you still need the 4, because we didn't do anything yet. Here is my p-value, and then it's next to the x. Again, go back up here, the p-value here. If I were to reverse this p-value, which we just decided is x, is next to the x. If I put 7 over 8 here, if I multiply by 4, I would get 7 over 2. Okay? So there you go, which means if x is here, this is a y squared. So let's just calculate it. Y squared equals negative 8x. And there you go. That's it. Okay, let's do another example. Let's say our focus now is 0. We'll say 3. Okay, remember what I told you with the focus. The p-value is the actual focus. Like the value of it. This is my y, so you know, put that 4 permanent. You know that it's 3, it's next to the y because it's the y coordinate. And then you know this is now an x squared, and now just finish it off. X squared equals 12y. That's it. So write yourself a teeny little note. Focus is the p value. So whatever the value is, it is the value. Obviously, we'll do the directrix. You'll see what happens. But, and again, I recommend you guys doing this. Do the things that I recommend because they're going to help you along the way. There's obviously no point to do another example because half of you guys don't even watch my videos, and it's the same thing. Again, take the p, take the exact same. Take the p, make the p the exact same. Whatever coordinate it's in, y, make it next to the y, and then here's x squared. This is in x, so that means make it in y squared and then calculate. Okay? Hopefully pretty easy. And now, yes, you guessed it, let's do your other one, the directrix. So same thing, we're going to write it. You're at the origin. We haven't shifted. So let's do 2 directrixes. I don't know if that's the right word. And then we'll be done. So let's say the directrix is y equals 6. Okay. Now, bing, bing, bing. If you guys go here, if this is the directrix, the p-value was the opposite, right? Positive, negative. So you have to remember that. So in this case, my p-value is the opposite. So all you have to make sure you can remember. So p is negative 6. Well, and then you're back to the same thing. If this is going to be my y, which basically I'm telling you, hey, it's y, then it's next to the y. So I know it's, don't forget the 4, I almost forgot. Negative 6, it's next to y, which means it's an x squared. These are big hints for you all. So x squared equals, oopsie, negative 24y. It's that simple. Don't overthink this. And then let's try, oops, this is number 3. Let's try our last one, and then you guys are done. So let's say the directrix, obviously, we'll do x equals negative 4. Okay, remember, directrix opposite, so p is the opposite, so p is 4. This is next to the x, so don't forget the permanent 4. Some people forget that, which I almost forgot before. Try to remember that. And then it's the opposite, so you got your 4. And then this is the x, so put an x here, which means this is a y squared. And then you guys get y squared equals 16x. Done. It's that simple. Here, put yourself a little note again. Your directrix, which we talked about, I should have put the other way, but it's okay, is the opposite value of the p. Focus is the same, and then you guys put it in from there and figure out who you're next to. All right, you guys, that's it. Hopefully it was easy. That's your last day of doing at the origin. Tomorrow we're going to be shifting it. Please follow the lessons. It's really simple. All right, bye.